All right, y'all ready to start this draft?
We pulled up. Yeah, man, let's get it.
Ready to win, yeah.
Oh, you ain't winning shit. All right, let's get it.
Let's go.
Let's get it. All right, so yeah, first, like I don't know, I feel like first round, the first 3 picks are pretty much set in stone. I'm curious to see how the GOAT BC.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's how we know
it's crazy. Bijan's
not
working.
At the 101, I don't know, man. I'm still not sold on him being like the number 1 overall player. I mean, I get the upsides there, I get all that stuff, but why not take somebody who's already proven? You know what I'm saying? Why not take a Jamar Chase? Is he going to outscore Jamar Chase? You that confident he's going to do that? I don't know.
I think he could, but I would Jamar. You know me, I'm a sucker for Jamar Chase.
Give me that,
but I do. Bijan's my RB1 this year. I do feel good about like Bijan. A lot of people, I think, forget how Bijan finished in the last 10 weeks of this or last 12 weeks of the season. He had over 20 fantasy points in 10 of those 12 weeks.
Say it again.
He was so good down the stretch when he finally. They're like done with the bullshit Tyler Algier stuff. Like, I don't know what. Maybe they're just saving him. Like that could be the thing too. They didn't want to load him up with all the work early on. Just kind of save him a little bit. But down the stretch, he was so good.
Who is Pops 3836, and how are we auto drafted already with a 60-second clock on the first draft of the year?
Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man. Well, I'm up here, and so Bijan, Saquon, Chase are gone, and I feel like for me, this is probably one of the you can't lose picks because you either get Jettis, Gibbs, or like CD. To me, those are the clear 3. I'm gonna go with Jettis here, though. Go with Jettis.
Damn, man. All right. I'm gonna go. I think they're gonna air it out a little bit more. Now, look, I typically would go Amon-Ra right here, but I mean, how do you guys feel about their? How do you guys feel about the OC leaving?
Yeah, Ben Johnson's gone. I feel like this offense might look a little different. Frank Ragnow retired, and so it's just like there's a lot here with this Detroit thing, but they have the same pieces, so I'm not really like overly concerned with their offense.
I would definitely go with CD though.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been down on them because like I get they have the same pieces and whatnot, but a lot of that was, scheme. A lot like Shanahan, how he'll scheme players open and whatnot. There's talent there, I get it, but I don't know. I think I've been in my dynasty leagues. I've been shopping St. Brown.
I'm not mad at that. It seemed like they keep talking up J-Mo like he about to have this crazy year. I'm like, he already had 1,000 last year. How much more crazy is it finna get? Like, he not going for 1,500.
Or is he? I mean, shit.
The thing is, he was like the thing about J-Mo. I don't want to talk too much about J-Mo, but the thing about J-Mo was like he was a top 10 pick, like, and they had a plan for him. He's one of the fastest receivers in the league, and if he added strength, he's already got decent size. Like, hey, P, what we be doing with them in Madden.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got the, and the fact that like they're factoring him on like end arounds, running game and whatnot, what have you. I'm not mad at it. Like there's a lot of pieces to feed on that offense, and when you take Ben Johnson out of the mix, like I don't know. I just feel like, and it's not like they have like an outstanding elite quarterback. It's just I felt it was just I don't know, man. I don't know, bro.
I think that it's drafting fatigue. I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown is just such a good player that he'll be fine. Like I wouldn't even worry. Like, but I would say definitely like for me, he's more of 4. Like I think CD should be viewed as this year's number 2 easily.
Yeah,
like, I think CD is getting a bit. Well, he's even going in the side like the top 5. So I don't want to say, but like last year, people were taking him before the holdout, like as the like the number 1 pick in fantasy, because he's already shown us that he can do it. As long as Dak is healthy, like he can get there. Like we know it. We've already seen it. So CD for me is like, I think should be, in my opinion, there's a clear top 5 this year, and CD's inside that top 5.
Hey, real quick though, hold on, I'm gonna pause this real quick. How do I pause the draft? I don't know how to pause.
You go
over there.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, right there. That one.
Right there, and that should be
real quick. I want to go over the first round, just real brief. Was there anybody in the first round you were like, yo, he didn't get picked, or like, why is he in the first round? Is there anything here where you're just like, something don't seem right with this?
No. personally, not me. No.
I mean, to be honest with you, like I get the injury concern. I just think I think Christian McCaffrey should have went at least in the back half of the top 5 or the back half of the first round. I get the injury concern. I get age is a thing and whatnot, but he would have been there like anywhere between 10, 11, or 12 for me.
Yeah, I don't mind that CMC bounces out. I think Genty going in the first is like, if you're banking your first round pick on him being 1,500-yard back, I think that's a lot to bank on in year one out of him out of a bad offense. You know what I mean? So we got to see what it looks like with Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll there. Obviously, Geno's the quarterback, but I think Genty going over CMC kind of don't sit right with me right now. And then the other that I have is A.J. Brown. I think we forget who A.J. Brown is at times, and him kind of going after like he's the ninth. He'll be the ninth receiver off the board right now. I kind of feel like A.J. Brown should be in that first round discussion, but other than that, it's not too bad.
I don't know. I'm comfortable with AJ Brown bouncing out of the first round.
Yeah, I think he should be more of it. Just because I think his ceiling's a little bit capped in that offense. That's the problem.
It's a lot of bit capped in that offense, man. Because
I think that he could be maybe the wide receiver one. Like if him and Jamar Chase switched, I would not be shocked if AJ Brown was the wide receiver one in fantasy. Like that's how. Yeah. But I'll gladly take him as my wide receiver too.
Of course, I bet you will. I bet you will.
I'm not bad at it, but I mean, like I had him last year though. Like he was a little disappointing. I traded for him in the
league. P, like he was hurt. Remember at the beginning of the year, and he tried to play through it, and he had to take time. Like it's easy to forget the injury. Like, and I actually have a video coming out on that. It's easy to forget players who are injured last year and how it affects their performance. Kind of like Michael Pittman dealing with the back injury, or like you get guys that they get the high ankle. Jonathan Taylor for the first half of the year dealing with that high ankle, and then oh shit, we see who he is in the back half. So I think the same thing with AJ Brown. It's easy to forget that sometimes.
But I don't think it's more so the injury concern. Like they didn't really need to use him. His usage rate was low. Like you don't like they're winning games without using him. You know what I'm saying?
I want to say like him and Saquon or Jalen Hurts and Saquon accounted for like 30 plus touchdowns on the ground last year. Like
that's crazy.
It's just I think that's the only part for me that just like it caps him a little bit. I love AJ Brown, and I think he's going to be right around like his normal 16, 17 fantasy points per game, which will be a top, a borderline top 10 guy. But I just don't think like him or Nico Collins. I think Nico Collins has the higher upside of an AJ Brown just because like I don't think he's capped in that regard on that offense. That's the only thing. But I think AJ Brown is like, if you want to go with safety, I think that he's a very safe pick compared to like, maybe CMC. I would still take CMC over him, but something like that.
But you would take him. I mean, obviously you did, but you would take him over like Drake London.
Yeah, because I think like I don't know how good Penix is going to be. Like I think Drake London's a very good wide receiver, but there's still big question marks. I know Penix, maybe was okay at the end of last year, but still a very small sample size. Like I feel good about the Eagles' offense. They're going to be one of the best offenses. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. Like I feel good about that, but I think
like AJ Brown is one of those players though. He just like, and we don't have to keep being a dead horse, but like AJ Brown's the kind of player we've been taking him as a top 5 receiver this whole time. So really, outside of Saquon Barkley coming there, what really changed? And I know that's a big piece to say what changed the offensive player of the year.
If the push would have got banned, I'd be even more.
Oh yeah.
Too. But we know he's still a big part of this offense, though.
No, he is
really. Yeah, he's a big part of his offense, but like when you think about like the running game's crazy, we know that, but their defense is getting even better. They're probably going to be up in a lot more games that they need to be. So I would rather take somebody who is going to be more prone to having like shootouts. I know, might be. Let me just.
So you'd rather have Drake London? Are you saying Drake London over AJ Brown? I think
I'm saying that they're very, very similar. I'm just saying the upside is good. I would rather chase the upside of Drake London. Like actually breaking out.
I think AJ Brown's a better real life wide receiver. So and it's like close between those two. I'd rather take him. If he asks who's the wide receiver 1 and RB1, we already know Jamar Chase and Bijan Robinson, right? Heading into this year.
Yeah, I don't really see a world outside of Saquon. I don't really see a world where that changes. Now with the receiver,
wait, what? Huh?
Outside of Saquon, I think he's the only one that can really compete. I think Gibbs can, but he's a lot more enticing.
If you want to say
when David Montgomery's out,
if you look at it, all right, in technicality,
yes, because 18, yeah,
weeks 1 through 18 in full point PPR, he was the RB1 last year.
But like I said, that a lot of that's attributed to David Montgomery being out too. So I think with both of them healthy, I don't see him RB1.
Oh, easily RB1. I think it's a clear top 3 this year.
Yes,
like it's those 3.
Now, if I had to say, I think a running back.
You're saying Chase, Bijan, and Gibbs is the clear top 3?
No. Top 3 running backs.
Oh yeah, top 3 running backs. Yeah.
The only running back that I think hasn't, and I've never been a big Devon Achane guy, but he is basically like Alvin Kamara this year. And he's proven now over the year, like I think for me, the durability was always the biggest thing with Devon Achane. Is like, can you stay healthy for a whole season? We hadn't seen it. And I think he even got banged up a little bit last year, but he proved he could play a whole season. And for me, if you're catching the rock like that, if Tua's healthy and you're as big a part of this offense, we didn't really, to be honest, we didn't really see a whole lot of big plays out of Devon Achane last year. It wasn't a lot of them 70, 80-yard TDs he had that first year. If they get any of that this year, that's Chris Johnson, that's Alvin Kamara, that's like big potential. I could see him being an RB1 this year.
100%. Like I'm with you on that. That's why it baffles me for people to take Genty over Achane. That's crazy to me. Like Achane is not only like lightning in a bottle, but he's mad. His usage is crazy. All the screens, all the dump offs, all that's the way that they use him in the red zone. I would take Achane 10 times out of 10 over Genty.
Yeah, 10 times out of 10.
I'd rather have Genty.
You rather have Genty?
Talk about it, man.
You got to explain that one, bro.
Yeah,
I think that we're overthinking Genty. Like,
Genty. So how do you figure? Because here's before I'll say it.
All right, wait. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Like we've already talked about this before. Running back since over the past 10 years, drafted inside the top 12 of the NFL draft, 100% hit rate of being an RB1 their first season in the league. It's 100%. So his floor is an RB1 in fantasy football this year.
Okay.
Then he's going to a situation. I don't think that the Raiders are going to be bad. Like, I think that the Raiders are actually going to be a decent offense this year. I think Geno Smith is a big improvement over what they've had. They have a decent offensive line. You have Brock Bowers, year 2. Dude already broke the rookie target record of any pass catcher like ever. The dude's going to be a stud. He's basically a wide receiver out there. So you got your wide receiver 1. You have a solid wide receiver 2 in Jacoby Myers. Then you add this guy in this offense with legit no competition. There's no competition for touches. Day 1, he's automatically the guy. He's going to get 300 total plus touches easily this year. He's a good receiving back. Like, he's going to play all the downs, be an absolute workhorse for a decent offense that I think will run the football when they get in close. Like, the one thing that I'll say about Devon Achane is the splits are big if you're not in full point PPR, which most people play in full point PPR. But if you look at full point PPR leagues to half point, he's very reliant on those targets and receptions, just like AK is, where he goes from RB6 to RB5 in full point to RB11 in full point or in half point leagues, just because he's so reliant on those targets. So that's the one thing, like, for me, definitely Genty in half point and full point. Yeah, I think that you could say.
I feel like Achane, though, when it comes to Achane, it's like last year is Raheem Mostert the guy they're using the red zone. He's also spelling them. And it's like, you don't really have that risk. Is Jalen Wright going to come in and take over? We know Jalen Wright is not the answer. Devon Achane is going to get all the work he can handle. And a lot of it was Tua was out for a good portion of that year as well with all the concussions. So now you step into a role where you're going to get more touches. And all that shit about these rookie running backs, it's always they finish in the top 12. You're taking him as a top 12 pick. You're taking him as number 8. Like,
how far do you go back with that knowledge or with that statistic of every running back?
10 years.
But a top 12 running back really doesn't mean shit.
How many running backs were taken in the top 12 in the last 10 years?
Yeah, like Gurley, Zeke, Saquon, Fournette, CMC, Gibbs, Bijan. Like, you have your best running back.
Trent Richardson was there, right?
Trent Richardson was an RB1 his first year.
Hey, his first year was
RB7.
From the catches,
if you want to say Trent Richardson, that's fine. He could be included because he was an RB1.
Yeah, they're gonna use him. I think Gentry will be fine. It's just you have to take him at his ceiling. That's his ceiling.
Here's my thing. You're with what you're saying, and this is just my opinion. What you're saying about Gentry, all of that could be true, and if it is true, then he's Devon Achane of last year. When you could just take Devon Achane, right?
Sure, but I would also argue that, like, objectively, Gentry is a much better prospect than Achane is. So, like, you're getting a theoretical higher ceiling out of Gentry because Achane is not going to touch the ball 350 times. Like, he's not going to be able to handle that. Gentry can. Gentry can touch the ball 350 times. Like, that's like you're getting maybe like you're not going to get the big explosive plays like Achane can, but you're just getting the volume that Achane won't get that Gentry will get.
I don't know.
Achane's getting like 6 catches a game too.
Yeah, once again, in full point PPR, I'm okay with that. I think in half point leagues, I think that's when the conversation should shift to Gentry. Like that's when it goes to Gentry.
Well, what do y'all think about this? Because obviously, like we've also seen the rise of like tight ends. Like we saw McBride and Brock Bowers really play a big role last year for teams. Like there was a big drop off after those two, especially like the way Brock Bowers kind of came on the scene. But then also QB. Like Lamar Jackson had a historic type of year. Josh Allen was right there behind him. And now we're seeing, we saw rookie Jaden Daniels also in there, but like we're seeing this is where the tight ends and the quarterbacks start going off the board. Personally, I think there's a lot of talent, especially at the quarterback spot, maybe not as much at tight end, but I think there's a lot of talent. I find myself kind of fading those positions early on, but as you can see, 2 tight ends, 3 quarterbacks off the board already in single QB and single tight end leagues. P, how you feeling about that, bro?
Look, I mean, typically, if it's a 1 quarterback league, I'm waiting on quarterback, right? If it's a 1 quarterback league, I'm waiting. But there's only so many opportunities you're gonna get for like, okay, look, this guy's almost 30 fantasy points a game. If I could get Josh Allen, I'm gonna get him. If he's there, I'm gonna get him. But typically I wait. But for players like blue chippers, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson's. Those are probably the only 2 that I would take early on or at their draft position in a 1 quarterback league.
Definitely those 2. Those 2 are the 25 points, fantasy points per game type of guys. Like I would argue maybe not so much. Like I was considering Jalen Hurts partially because I had AJ Brown too, but like Jalen Hurts, we know can put up big weeks. Yeah, has that rushing upside. But it definitely Lamar. And then the 2 tight ends, I'm okay with Trey McBride and Brock Bowers. Like those 2 guys are number 1, number 2 targets on their teams. They showed it last year, like how good they can be. Like Brock Bowers, I want to say was averaging 16 fantasy points per game, which is a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. So like I'm okay with those 2 guys. I don't think I want to take them, but I'm okay with like where they go. Like if Trey McBride would have fallen to me at the 310, I definitely would have taken him personally.
You say that. You said that Rashee Rice would have still been on your team. You're like, well, if Rashee Rice wasn't there, I know how it is, Tyler. You over there, you talking it, but I see you.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean,
McBride, I would have taken Trey McBride there.
You got McBride over Rashee Rice, like just bar for bar.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Just because if Rashee Rice, I will say, like, it seems that he's healthy. He's a full go. If he's a full go, then yeah.
I feel like the tight ends, the thing is it's those 2 and you really have to reach, but there's such a plethora of talent at the top, in my opinion, that like I'm not even thinking quarterback or tight end right now because you got Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker going around after the quarterbacks, the tight ends, and Chase Brown. How are they going after Chase Brown? That makes 0 sense to me. Like, I just think that there's a plethora of talent in the draft. And then once those top end receivers and running backs are gone, things get a little bit more dire. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
People forget that Naji Harris is a Charger. Woo! By people, who do you mean? You mean Tyler?
Najee Harris, the guy that everybody shitted on.
Bro,
magically, everybody wants to remember he's a Charger now.
I'm with you on that, T. I'm like, look, people remember Najee's a Charger and are still taking Omarion Hampton. That's what it is, bro.
The Chargers remember that the Chargers remember that Najee's a Charger, and they're like, hey, guess what? we're going to take Amarian Hampton with a top 25 pick in the NFL draft because this guy fucking stinks. That's exactly what happened. This guy stinks. So we're going to take Amarian Hampton because he's 10 times better. So
talk that shit.
Draft Amarian Hampton because 11 point per game Naji Harris is there. Then please let him continue to fall because historical data points to, once again, if we want to bring this up, 80% hit rate of guys who are drafted inside the first round running backs are RB1s their first year in the league.
Go with these magic numbers.
These
ESPN numbers.
Over the past 10 years. So go ahead and be worried about Naji Harris.
No, but he's the starter. Like until Amarian Hampton is being named the starter, why are we taking him over James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, and Joe Mixon?
James Cook, okay, there's one that you want to talk about. You didn't like him last year. The reason why James Cook had a good year last year is because of inflated touchdown rate. He still didn't touch the ball. He was a below, I want to say right around 50% opportunity share kind of guy. That's really bad. His
You're
touches
talking about inflated numbers, but bro, Amarian Hampton don't even have that spot right now. Who knows how many touches he's going to get? Is he getting 15 at all this year?
Amarian Hampton with a top 25 pick to not use him. Like, come on.
Who are they more invested in, Jay? Najee or Amarian?
You're talking about what they're more invested in.
I believe Najee's on a $3 million
they're paying him
deal.
more. They're paying Najee more than they're paying Amarian Hampton this year.
I don't think that they are. I think
Amarian got a full.
No, I think Amarian's fully guaranteed.
This season, Naji Harris makes more money than Amarian Hampton.
Okay,
there's no other way to put it. So they're more invested in him.
No, that's not true, bro. You trying to get
what's the salary? You tell me it's not true. What's the salary? What's Amarian Hampton's salary?
G?
I'll look it up right now.
Amarian Hampton, bro, is significantly a better player than Naji Harris, and it's not fucking close. And obviously, he's already almost
making 17 million for 4 years, 17 million. So what's he making? 4 million a year?
And what's Najee making? 3?
Yeah.
5. No, Najee's at 5. Najee's at 5. So I think Hampton is a good player. I'm not saying that I don't think he's a good player. And I think that at some point he's going to take over. But I think everybody's trying to preemptively assume he's going to be the starter. And I damn sure I'm not taking him in the top 15 running backs when I'm hoping if I'm in the fantasy playoffs and the fantasy championship, I'm hoping that he's a top 15 running back at that point. Like praying. You're drafting him as a top 15 running back?
You don't gotta pray. This is where
you do have to pray.
No, this is where skill comes in.
Please, please, Omarion, please. You gotta start doing Omarion dances and shit.
Bro,
you feel me? Like, bro, praying, bro.
Jaylen Warren was better than Najee Harris last year. What do you think Amarion Hampton's going to be?
Najee Harris whatsoever. Najee Harris.
This is where skill comes in, though, Jay, because you got to, at some point, you got to be like, all right, let me just get off the Najee train. You know, you stuck with it. You know what I mean? You're hard-headed, and we respect that.
You trying to call it the Najee train. It's not the Najee train. It's just he's a good football player, not great. He's good enough to maintain the starting role for a little bit, and you got to know.
You know who else was good?
It's situational.
You know who else was a good football player? Like a good football player, good, like decent. He can be a decent running back. Gus Edwards. And what happened? Like J.K. Dobbins came in, and he was just better. And they said, okay. Hey, guess what, JK? You're the guy now. What do you think's going to happen week 4 when Najee Harris is plotting to a 3.5 yard per carry average once again? And there's our Amarian Hampton at 4.5, 5 yards a carry. They're going to be like, yeah, you know what? We invested 1 full year into Najee Harris.
The thing is, you guys are talking like Najee Harris is just ass. He said,
he is ass, bro. He is ass.
He's 1,000 yards every year. Literally been 1,000-yard back every
year. He's not going to have the volume.
Come on. He's going to have the volume back every single year. So you're talking about yards per carry, yards per result. He had 1,000-yard back. You don't just bench that and be like, oh, we got Amarian Hampton. Najee Harris just isn't going to play at all. We signed him.
So
back, he's not going to play. Come on.
I think he had like what, one season where he averaged, I think, at 4 yards a carry. Everything else is under that. Am I tripping?
He's 1,000-yard back no matter how you frame it.
Bro, you have to have efficiency. It's not about how you frame it. In this offense, they got a clear identity, right? They lost JK because he's hurt. Gus Edwards been ass. Who else was on the RB market that, you know what I'm saying, that they could rock with?
They could have re-signed JK. They could have re-signed JK.
Like, JK's little and he's hurt.
Yeah,
bro.
They did it, and they're like, hey, holy shit, this running back class is one of the greatest running back classes we've seen. So let's take our guy in the first round. We got other needs at other places, but my God, we got Naji Harris sitting on the roster. My God, we cannot go into next season with him as our starter. We need our guy. We got our guy in Amarian. That's what happened.
We'll see. I'll clean up on Najee in the 6-7.
Okay.
You're good. That's all you, G. That's all you, bruh.
Who else? Who guys? Because right here, I feel like this is where the draft starts to get a little bit more like you got to reach on players. There's not the star power. This round seems to have like evaporated very quickly. Are you guys?
Know who I like right here?
Yeah,
I like Tet.
Oh,
you like Tet right there, huh?
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, top 10 wide receiver in the NFL draft. Easy. Should be like there's a chance that he's not good. Like that could happen.
Yeah.
But number one target on his offense. Like I like some of the other over who?
Travis Hunter.
Oh, is Travis Hunter still? Oh, I didn't see he was down there. Fuck.
Yeah.
I would have taken Travis Hunter. Yeah.
You know what's crazy about Ted is because
I think you're good with Ted over Travis. That's just me.
The thing is, you're tied to Bryce Young. They also drafted Xavier Legette last year early, right? You still got Adam Thielen there. There's still like not enough ball to go around because I don't think Bryce Young just takes this major leap to like 4,000-yard passer. And I think if we're expecting like, in Jacksonville, you talk about it, I would take Travis over him too. Like Travis going to be able to throw. Trevor Lawrence can be able to throw the rock over 4,000 if he stays healthy. And Evan Ingram's gone. So it's like I just see a bigger path for Travis Hunter, even if he's playing both sides.
After our conversation, I've been thinking about that a little bit more, and you're probably right. There's just more opportunity.
I would have went with Travis there.
You said what else is new after we just said 5 minutes on Najee, and you're talking about what else is new? Come on.
That's my pick. Now my team doesn't look as good.
Your team does not look very good, actually.
No, it doesn't, Tyler.
That's the first time I agree with you all day, Tyler.
Are you kidding me? Look at my 3 wide receivers. Those are 3 wide receivers.
And then I look at who are your backs. You got a backup running back starting as your RB1. Come on.
That's all right, because guess what? I'll get somebody off of waivers. This is a 3 wide receiver league. I don't give a shit about running backs.
No, I hear you.
Except I'm about to get another RB1 because he's about to slip to me. I know Johnny Sports may put sports in his name, but he doesn't know sports. So
he may put sports in his name. How do we feel about Pacheco? This is actually a really interesting question because the team did re-sign Kareem Hunt. They drafted another guy really late, Rashard Smith. And then I feel like this team, obviously they're not going to run the rock the same, but he was coming off that injury last year and did not look the same. There was reports that it would take him like a year to look the same on the field. I'm out. Like, I haven't been drafting Isaiah Pacheco, but like he's going after the top 20 backs. Is this a value pick?
I like him for where he's going. I think that there's running backs in that range too. Like, we'll talk about them when they come up, I'm sure. But like the Giants backfield, the Jags backfield, like I don't mind where he's currently going because like he was being drafted as a top 3 running in the 3rd round last year.
Yeah.
And it like I get it. He wasn't very good, but he's also coming off a serious injury at the end of the year. So I don't think that you can say like, oh, they went with Kareem Hunt. Yeah, they brought in Kareem Hunt, but like Kareem Hunt's dusty. I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is that good, but I don't mind taking the chance.
Hey, Tyler, what'd you say about Kareem Hunt?
He's dusty.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is honestly that good, but like where he's currently going, it's we know the Chiefs' offense is a very good offense. I don't mind him for where he's going. I don't.
You got Hampton and Harvey, bro. You just saying, hey, I'm gonna do a rookie draft. Is this the dynasty effect, bro?
I think RJ Harvey is walking into a situation that Jaleel McLaughlin, that's what he's preventing him from getting
Audric Estime.
Jaleel.
I think RJ Harvey is walking into a great situation. He was drafted at the beginning of in the 2nd round there. I mean, I like him. I'm okay with my running backs right now. I'm not expecting a ton of production early on, but there's guys in this draft that are going later that I know that I can rely on early on. And once these guys blow up, I'm fine with it.
Well, and you make a good point because like Harvey, I actually like Harvey. There's a running back who hasn't gone yet that I think might be better than both Harvey and Hampton as a rookie that hasn't gone yet. But I also think that we got some clarity on his situation because there was talks that Nick Chubb was going to go to Denver and potentially be part of that backfield. He is now in Houston, and I don't think this affects Joe Mixon's value at all. I think the person this hurts has is probably the tryhard in that backfield, Dameon Pierce. I think Dameon Pierce, unfortunately, is probably going to be the cut victim.
I will say Joe Mixon is banged up already, so it is a little interesting that they brought Chubb in.
This give me 2007 vibes, P. Still in my pick. I was talking about Quinshon Judkins. He's going to be elite this year.
Yeah, no, I think, but you know what's funny though? Like, as good as Mixon is and was last year, yeah, he may be banged up. I think that this is. I think I like Chubb. I like where he lands, and I think it's going to be like a 1A 1B type situation. That like Chubb is, when healthy, is a more talented runner of the football. You know what I'm saying? And he's probably one of the most talented runners in the game when he's healthy again, right? But you know, I don't know. I like it.
Devastating injury. That's the only thing. Is just like, what's he going to look like coming off of the injury? If we do get like, you know, shades of Nick Chubb, then I do think it will be a problem for Joe Mixon's upside, because I think Nick Chubb was arguably the best pure runner right there with Derrick Henry in the league. Like those two guys are in terms of just being a running back. Well, two of the best
really
running backs.
Nick Chubb right now? I mean, dude averages 3.5 yards a carry. He has no knees. Why are we really worried about Nick Chubb taking?
I'm not saying that.
What are you talking about, bro?
We're just saying if he's reminiscent of Nick Chubb of old. That's all I'm saying.
I'm reminiscent of Nick Chubb. They say I look like Nick Chubb, so I don't want to hear that shit. Like this, I think Nick Chubb to me
that's kind of funny, man.
Yeah, they be like, you look like Nick Chubb. I'm like, bro, what? Anyway, yeah, like Nick Chubb to me, I just feel like he don't got no knees. Like I'm not really worried about him. He's like Cam Akers was last year. If something happens to Joe Mixon, they can beat him 15 times. I don't really see a big like.
Cam Akers isn't even in the same stratosphere as Nick Chubb's.
Yeah, I don't think he could write him off like that. I mean, he had that knee injury too coming out, right? He had that knee injury in college, and he still became Nick Chubb. I know he's older now, whatnot, what have you, but maybe he doesn't come back 100% to what we know as Nick Chubb. But still, if he's not 100%. If he's still getting you 4 yards a clip, still running with that same vision, I think it's a problem. I think it could be a problem. I mean, for Mixon at least.
Hey, after this round, I'm going to tighten the clock up to 30 seconds, just so you guys.
All right, let's do it. Let's get
it. How y'all feeling about these drafts right now? Is anybody's team you're looking at, you're like, ooh, I don't like what they're doing, or maybe somebody's team you're like, oh no, I see what you're doing over there. Like anybody that stands out?
I don't really like my drafts so far, you know. I don't know. I every time I'm like, okay, there's Josh Allen there, but every time I'm like, man, you know, I could have had any one of these other quarterbacks and went wide receiver. But still, I mean, like, if you can get somebody who's putting up Josh Allen numbers on a weekly basis, I think it does give you a slight advantage.
It's a good anchor. Yeah, you definitely, that ain't a P team.
It's not. That
ain't a P team. That in the P team.
I mean,
Kelsey, damn. Kelsey after Jonnu?
Hell yeah, dude. Kelsey's washed, in my opinion.
I kind of want to reach for a player right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to reach for somebody else instead.
Oof.
What happened to oof? You ain't with the pink bags, bro, in the yachts?
Party up.
You ain't trying to party with Diggs?
I just don't like these guys coming off the ACL tears. That's the biggest problem with Diggs. ACL tear at his age, I don't think he's even with the team right now.
He's been at
OT. He is. He's with the team.
Yeah, he been practicing. He looks full speed too. Because if he don't play, he don't get paid.
No thanks.
I'm not mad at the. You know, the thing is, I'm not mad if you're like, hey, I don't like Diggs, but to be honest, I'm like, he's free right here in the 7th round. I think
I wouldn't say free. And if
he's free and he's the number one receiver right now for the New England Patriots. So I'm like, if you get a number one down here, that's free. That's free money.
All right, fuck.
Free money.
Free money. A number one down here to me is free money. And especially
Olave is the number one.
Yeah.
Dude, I was looking at him too.
Calvin Ridley's a number one.
I was looking at him too.
Yeah, but those guys are coming off of ACL tears. That's the biggest problem I have with Diggs. If Diggs wasn't coming off the ACL tear, well, I mean, he'd be going higher anyways.
Yeah, he'd be going higher. But
I would take Diggs over Olave. To me, that's easy. I think that the Pat. I mean, kind of Ridley. That's where it's like it's close to me. I mean, I just see that the Pats got a quarterback who probably is going to take the next step. I mean, he has shown flashes. Does look like he's talented. Chris Olave has nothing going for him. What's up?
You talking about Drake May?
Yeah, I think Drake May's going to take a next step.
Tyler normally does too, but he ain't talking about that.
No, I have no questions about Drake May. I have questions about Diggs, 31 years old, coming off an ACL tear that was later. Well, it's about midway point in the season. I just don't like that. For me, I don't like. That's the biggest problem that I have with it. It's not. I think Drake May is going to be fine this season. That's just.
So Drake May's. So I guess the $1 million question is, if Drake May is going to be fine, and say he throws for 3,300 yards, let's just call it. I think that's a fair number to assume if he plays.
I already know what you're going to say. That's not why we're drafting Drake May.
Who's the number one receiver?
Kyle Williams.
Just like Jalen Polk, right? Just like Javon Baker, right?
No, I think it's going to be a slew of guys.
Just like Kayshon Boutte, right? Like
I'm not drafting Drake May for the passing upside. Like that's a bonus. I'm drafting Drake May because the rushing upside.
But there has to be production. It's the same thing we do every year. It's the same thing with Cleveland last year, right? Like Cleveland last year, we were like, okay, cool. We're not taking any of their receivers. And then what happens? One of their receivers has to do something. We get Jerry Jeudy. We get that kind of production. It's like
how many wide
receivers? There has to be the production somewhere in the offense, at least to me. Unless you're on Tennessee and you get touchdowns out of Nick Westbrook or Keen every fucking week.
I think Drake. Once again, I think Drake May is going to be fine. You could say Stephon Diggs could be the number one target there, but I just don't think it's going to be a guy that is going to have.
If he's the number one target there, it's probably not going to be by much. I think it would. Yeah. I think like we seen last year, every other quarter of the season they had a different number one wide receiver. It seemed like it seemed like Kendrick Bourne was getting his shine when he was healthy. I'm not good with names, but the little quick shifty
Mario
guy.
Douglas,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, they kind of were getting their shine at certain periods of the time. So, but I think even if that 3,300, let's say he gets a quarter, let's say he gets a third of that, right? Like 1,100 or like 10, a rack. What's his touchdowns going to look like?
Say it's 5 to 6. That's down here. It's crazy. This is like 700, 800.
Couldn't you say the same for Calvin Ridley? I mean, Calvin Ridley was good last year.
I think Calvin Ridley's a steal down here.
Yeah,
I would have taken Calvin Ridley.
The problem is just like he's not coming off the ACL tear. That's the only.
I just think volume wise, I'm a little bit more impressed with Diggs' floor. I think this year, outside of the injury risk,
Diggs a better wide receiver.
I think Diggs is a better wide receiver, and I think he has a better floor receptions wise. I think on a weekly basis he does.
I think Calvin Ridley. I like Calvin Ridley because I just look at him and say, who the hell is going to catch the ball here outside of him? Like he's going to be a target.
All right, quick. I got two quick announcements real quick before we get to the second half of this draft. First announcement is we have fantasy football training camp, August 2nd and 3rd. Make sure you guys go there. If you want a free ticket, I just put the code in the comment sections, FTTC free. Enter that code. It's on FFTCcamp.com. That's the website. Make sure y'all go to it. Virtual event. It's finna be loaded. We got Dante. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that yet. We have some big NFL players that potentially will be there. Some speakers that will be there. So make sure you guys get your ticket right now. FTTC free. And then the second announcement I have is that I know a 14-year-old that can already 360 windmill. His name is Tyson Henry. Go ahead and follow his page right here. Time TYME. Y'all drop him a follow. Tyson Henry _22. Shout out to the GOAT, man. He hit a full court shot the other day. A full court shot. Dead ass in the middle of a game. I'm like, who does that, bro? So make sure y'all drop him a follow. Show him some love. He's also asking about TreVeyon, 'Trayvon' Henderson, fellas. How do y'all feel about TreVeyon, 'Trayvon' Henderson, as I get this draft restarted?
I think, I mean, I like it. He's talented coming out and whatnot. I don't know. I like him. Running quarterback. As far as the rookies go, rookie running backs, he probably would be like, but obviously behind RJ Harvey for me in the others. I don't know. Maybe I'm not too high on him.
I love Travion. I would say like rookie year Travion may not be great just because. Although I'll say this about Travion, like when I was, let me make this pick. I think I'm just gonna go with like.
Look, Travion to me is a good backup running back. I think everybody's anticipating he's going to take over the starting role.
Running back though.
You think he's starting over Ramondre?
No, I think it's more of a. I think the split between Travion Henderson and Ramondre will be reminiscent of like what Detroit does. Like that's how I've always viewed Travion Henderson. He's not going to be a bell cow running back. What he's going to be is he's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs-esque, where he's already the best running back coming out of this class in pass protection. He's one of the best pass protection backs like your top scouts has ever seen. So he's going to be this team's receiving back. He's explosive, has home run ability. I think that he's going to be this team's receiving back. He'll push Ramondre Stevenson because he's better than Ramondre Stevenson. I don't think he'll ever fully take over the role, but he'll be in that role, Jahmyr Gibbs-esque, where it's going to be more of a 1A, 1B, and he's going to be the 1A.
This is
not
the
playing
big
all of it.
Problem with the fantasy/dynasty community, though.
No,
Tyler, you're already ready to give a rookie who has to earn their role the starting spot or more touches over a player who's proven to earn a contract. Ramondre Stevenson has earned a long-term contract. He's already proven
he's
can be
asked. What are you talking about? Guys that are asked get contracts. It happens.
Yeah, oh shit, that was my pick. I would hold on a second.
Way to go. Look at you. auto pick.
Hold on. We definitely not taking we're not taking Mark Andrews. That's what we're not doing. That's what we're not doing.
No, you made the pick.
Oh, you're right. I did.
No,
I'll say this. I'll just jump in here while you guys are going at it. I don't think the Pats were too happy with Ramondre himself. Right. There are times where it's like, where the hell's Ramondre? Why aren't they running Ramondre? Yeah. I think that they made that pick strategically. So, I think you have to be a little bit more fluid. And when you're analyzing this type of stuff and you're trying to think like, okay, who's going to get more? Sometimes it doesn't matter if they got paid. Just flat out. If they got paid and they're in it, sometimes it don't.
It always matters when they get paid.
It does not. It does not always matter when they get paid, bro. It doesn't. That's just a fact. It don't. We're not gonna go back to Naji, but that's just it. It don't. If somebody's more talented, they're gonna get the run.
I think Travion is very talented. Put it that way. I think when I was doing my research this offseason on the rookies, I was like, oh shit, he shines off the screen. Like you could just tell he's going to be a good back. So I mean, it wouldn't shock me. I just don't think initially we're gonna get that early on. But
no, I agree with that. Once again, I think it's rookie year Travion, I don't think is going to be. You're going to see the full potential. I think there's going to be flashes in the pan with Travion, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that later in the season will break out a little bit. Next year will be that darling pick that can just explode. But year one Travion may not be the guy that you hope for, just because the path to touches isn't as clear as RJ Harvey. Isn't as clear as maybe even a Quinshon Judkins. But I think that he's very talented.
No, I hear that, and I think rookies are probably, rookies are tough because at some point the team is going to say, well, what do we have? Especially a team with the Patriots who they're probably not going to be a 9-10 win team. They're probably going to have a lesser record. And at some point, think, okay, let's get our younger players the rock. So I can see it happening. It's just a matter of like, how much do you need to invest? So I think at the rate where you got them, round 6, after you've gotten your starting receivers and running backs, it's not a bad upside play.
No, I think he's fine for where he's currently going. There's definitely upside there. And the last thing I'll say is, once again, the problem with rookie running backs that you see them getting on the field is they're working pass protection. Yep. A majority of the time, these guys are not good.
That is true.
The fact that he is a very, very good pass protection running back gives him the ability to already get on the field right now. So that's where I think he will get on the field, and at that point, what he can do with it. He also was a little bit banged up in college. He's got to stay healthy in the pros, but there's a pathway there, and I just think he's very talented.
I did not like that pick. Somebody stole my pick. I was going to pick Michael Pittman, but I panicked a little bit there. With the smaller clock, hey, I'm not mad at taking Kyler down there, though.
No, Kyler's fine. Yeah. I think Travis Etienne's a good pick, too.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate the love. Is there going to be a draft guide this year? If so, when will it be available? There will be a draft guide this year. Some future changes to how that's going to be delivered will be announced very soon. Draft guide will be on the way, though. More than likely in July sometime, just as an ETA. I want to know what's good, Ryan. He said, I want to know why Caleb Johnson isn't getting more attention. He was insane at Iowa, and trust me, Warren is not the starting back at Pittsburgh. I agree with that, and I think Caleb Johnson has a very good potential here. It's just I think he's not getting as much attention because he doesn't have like a clear path. It's the same thing as some of these other backs. It's when we know they're the starter, we know how the touches are going to be designated, they'll get a little bit more attention.
No, I agree with that. I think that Jaylen Warren isn't the guy, but Jaylen Warren's going to be involved. He's going to have a role on the team. And then also there's just Arthur Smith gets the bad rep.
Yeah.
And then also how good is that offense going to actually be? There's just a lot. I think Caleb Johnson, for where he's going, is fine, though. I think he's fine.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these other players that are going right now because it feels like this is quarterback territory. I just had a conversation with NFL Network's Laquan Jones. If you haven't watched it, you guys can watch it on the channel. But Bo Nix, we talked about Bo Nix, and he was like, I'm taking Bo Nix over Patrick Mahomes. He's like my top 10 guy. I feel like Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Jared Goff, there's a bunch of quarterbacks that go, and I probably should not have taken Kyler Murray, but there's a bunch of quarterbacks that go in this range that are all similar upside, similar floor to me. And I'm like, I have trouble ranking them because I value them based off personal bias and players that you like. Because I kind of feel like this range, they're all 17 to 20 point quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? T-Law could go here. Dak could go here. Justin Fields could go here. Jared Goff could go here. There's a lot of potential QB2, high-end QB2s that go in this range.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's C.J. Stroud down there, Drake May breakout, Dak Prescott. It's I think it just speaks to dude, you don't even need to take a quarterback. You don't need it in single quarterback leagues. You don't need to take one. You could be just fine with all of them if you stack the rest of your roster. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Even though I got Josh Allen, I'm still I'm still I regret it. Why? What happened?
Why are we? Why?
Was that
Backfield Tootin?
He ran a 4.3.
I think that running back room is. I mean, you look at where Etienne's going. Obviously, the public doesn't know how to address this running back room. I think it's a fluid situation right now. Etienne's on the 1 year. This is last year with the team. Mm-hmm. Who knows? This team they've invested already. You talk about investments. This team has invested into Backfield Tootin.
What round did he go in?
4th round.
What round?
Here's the problem. Here's the one thing.
What round did that Tank
one
Bigsby
saving
go
grace. This is the one. What?
What round did Tank Bigsby go in that they invested in?
They didn't invest in him.
What round did he go? What round did Tank Bigsby go in?
3rd.
So he went to 3rd. They invested in him, or they didn't invest in him. But then they shall Tootin in the 4th, and they invested in him.
I think still if Bigsby was in this draft class, he probably would have been a 6th round running back.
Absolutely. This is this is one of the problems though that I'll say. Yeah. This could be a running back class where we look back next year and say, man, what we should have done is we should have moved the 4th round up to the 3rd round because of how talented this class was. That's the one thing that I'll say. And the other thing is it's round 10. Backfield Tootin's a guy, if he's RB3 on this depth chart week 1, easy fodder. And I can go and pick up, a guy that's going to be on my team for the rest of the season for the first couple of weeks. Out of all the guys here, I don't really give a shit.
This is the Tyler, well, not just you, because I feel like a lot of people are in on this guy on Backfield Tootin. This is Kamani Vidal of last year. I'm just gonna put it.
No, he's way better.
This is Kamani Vidal of last year.
Kamani Vidal was going in like the 13th. Like Bashal Tune's 10 times better. Come on. The problem with last year's draft class is it was ass. This year's draft class, the running back class is very, very good.
We're gonna see, bro.
It's very good.
I think this is more of like a Kendrick Miller pick.
That too.
Yeah, than a Kamani Vidal.
No, I would say you know who it is? You know who Bashal Tune is? He's a Tyrone Tracy from last year. A running back who's going to a fluid situation. We're not quite sure who the guy is. And this is where he's being drafted, just like Tyrone Tracy was drafted in the 10th, 11th, 12th round of drafts last year. That's who Tootin is this year. We're not sure how this situation is going to work out. Who's the true number one? He could be the number one. I would not be shocked by that. Or it could be RB3. I wouldn't be shocked by that either. But like, there's opportunity here on an offense. The last point I'll make is last year, Liam Cohen, Rashad White, and Bucky Irving were top 20 running backs in fantasy football. Both of them inside the top 10 in receptions at the running back position. So there's opportunity in this offense for somebody. I'm not saying it's going to be Tootin. I don't mind taking a shot on them.
Gabe, Tony, what's good, y'all? Asking if there's going to be another draft. I think we got time for another one. We got time for another draft. Give us a second, but we're going to go over this one in just a minute. I think when you look at Tootin, here's how I draft players. Just being honest. There's no chance in hell I think Bashal Tootin is on a roster by week 2. Put it that way. I don't think if you have him, if you draft him, there's a 0% chance he'll be on your roster in week 2. So why draft him?
I mean, why not? Like, I don't know.
Because he ain't gonna be on your roster week 2. I just know that for a fact. Like, you look at the players that we picked up off of waivers last year, he's not going to be on rosters.
I don't know. I don't think that. I don't think that you're giving him as much credit as like this is an entirely new regime.
Yeah,
that has.
Don't give a shit about Travis.
The last 2 regimes didn't care about Travis.
Yeah,
and we didn't care about that motherfucker either.
You hated Travis Etienne last year. You
because he was going in the second round.
Oh, okay, but he's still the same guy. Man,
in the 8th round,
really
exactly. That's my point. I guess that's my point. Is like the value you get him in the second round or 8th round. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. I think it's worth it. You know who I would have. Jordan Mason, I think, is a better.
I like Jordan Mason too. I do like him. At this point, oh man, do I go with him? I really like Dak, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick right there.
Yeah,
like Dak is just so. I was deciding between him and Drake May, but like we know how good Dak can be, and
that's top 5. Dak is top 5 when he's on. He's top 5.
Good, and I love drafting Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, but it's like, man, I can wait till like round 10, 12, 13 to get Dak. Even Drake May, like, oh man, there's just so many good quarterbacks that I don't mind waiting on. Even like Justin Fields is still there, which I take Justin Fields for
sleeper.
That's why I was mad when I saw who was still left when I took Kyler. I'm like, why did I take Kyler Murray? That's the thing I regret the most. I wish I would took somebody else.
There's just a lot of good quarterbacks that I don't mind having as my QB1.
I should have took Ramondre
there. Caleb was probably
Caleb's still on the board. I don't mind having Caleb Williams either. I don't mind a lot of these guys that are still on the board right now.
Yeah.
Couple questions that came in about Jahan has Travis Hunter not been listed on Sleeper. He's there. HD Vibes took him in the 5th round. So HD Vibes, he's right here. So there's Travis Hunter on there. We got to get that Jahan versus Tyler Health league going again, going for that 2P. We're going to get that league going again. We'll get it going again.
I'm going to get auto drafted. No. Yes, I got it in.
You got it in? All right, cool.
Yeah. I don't know who to take. I'll take Garendo.
I don't mind Garendo, especially because if McCaffrey go down, shit.
Yeah, he's next up. I wanted to take Jaden Blue and Kyle Williams. Both the guys I was looking at were both just taken. I should have just waited. I was contemplating on waiting on Dak because those guys already had a quarterback, and I was like, they probably won't take a second quarterback. I should have went with like Jaden Blue or Kyle Williams there, just get one of them, and then I was okay with getting like Fields or Drake May, but it's whatever.
First
mock draft, you know.
first mock draft, and
Big brain thinking.
I would say this, like, this is, if you're going to start taking your sleepers and guys, there's a lot of like still really good talent that goes down here that goes after like the just complete flyers. So I would say like just be down here. There's more talent. And I think as the offseason goes on, these rankings are going to be adjusted. There's some players down here that like should not be on.
Yeah, just so much, bro. So much.
Like there's a lot of players down here.
I think Beck. No love for Beck.
Nah, I mean, Jack Besh, go ahead. That's all you. The third target and the third in line for targets, like on the Raiders. Go ahead, bro.
I thought he was looking kind of good. I mean,
Pause.
The one problem I have is I did this with the running back class last year. Like I was taking a lot of those guys, but it was one of the like. Everyone was saying it. One of the worst running back classes we've seen in a long time. This was one of the worst wide receiver classes we've seen in a long time. So it's like your wide receiver 5, like Jack Besh. Emergency tornado warning. Oh no!
You got a tornado coming over? Damn, PA, they trying to wipe PA off the map, huh?
God damn, man.
I'm in the basement already, so it'll be happening. I'll still be drafting. But yeah, it's like Besh would be what in last year's class? Wide receiver 10, 12?
Wide receiver, we're not talking about him.
I don't mind him at this point though. Like these are dart throws, so I don't mind it. Like it could happen. But I doubt it.
Jahan, who's your Bateman of this year? My Rashad Bateman of this year. Let me think on that. I don't really have a Bateman of this year yet. What do you mean, like just guy I could get like at the end of the draft? I think Hollywood Brown. I took Hollywood Brown. I think he's going to be like a really good value. It's just kind of like a bench guy. He just doesn't provide a whole lot of touchdown upside, which I normally like. And Rashee Rice is obviously the one there. So I don't know. Let me think about who my Bateman of this year. It might be Bateman again. Shit, like. He goes super late, so I'm not sure about that yet. I'm not sure who my Bateman is this year. I don't really have one as yet. A guy that I didn't take, and I'm not going to take in this draft that Ty just took right here, Isaiah Likely. I think Isaiah Likely is going to end up being a top 10 to 12-ish tight end, and I think he's probably going to be one of the steals of the draft because I think Isaiah Likely is going to take over that starting spot after what Mark Andrews did last year in that playoffs, and I think just in general – I see a world where Isaiah Likely takes over as his team's lead tight end.
I like Freiermuth. I'm a Steelers fan though, but
yeah.
Last year, I mean, he was tight end 13 in points per game last year. I want to say he finished with like 0.2 points per game less than Sam Laporta last year. So like, and he should be the number 2 target for Aaron Rodgers. Like, there's volume there for him, and he's good in the red zone. Like that's all you want. Another one I would even say is like Hunter Henry. If we do think Drake May takes a step, like Hunter Henry's a solid tight end, and you got Diggs.
He is though. Like we know what the hell he is. Like 708 touchdowns, like every single year.
Which is like that's okay for a tight end.
Solid.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Actually, you know who it is? Kyle Pitts, bro. Kyle Pitts.
Well, I like Kyle Pitts. I was thinking about taking Kyle Pitts. I hope he gets traded, though, honestly.
Where do you want him to go? Because they were talking about Steelers, which I don't understand. 2 tight end set, but where do you want him to go?
Oh, my God.
That'd be ugly if he went to the Steelers, in my opinion.
I want him to go to a team that's actually going to use him the right way. I don't know.
Miami. If he goes to Miami, that'll be crazy.
Well, if Miami moves on from Jonnu,
yeah.
I'm just going to go with Trey Benson here.
I don't mind that. And actually, I remembered who my Bateman is for this year. I do have a Bateman this year.
Who's that?
Johnston.
Who?
Quinn Johnston.
Not Quinn Johnston. Everybody loves Trey Harris. I'm not as in on Trey Harris as everybody else.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So my pick. So how I think of this is I'm thinking, okay, who has like opportunity, but like maybe everything didn't come together last year, right? And I looked at like, all right, potential touchdowns left on the field and just like where I think there's some value. Obviously, with like the starting quarterback situation in Indy, we don't really know what's going on if it's Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones. But one thing I know is if Anthony Richardson does get the starting gig, he was literally inches away from having like probably 6-7 touchdowns to A.D. Mitchell. And A.D. Mitchell as a second-round pick last year, I don't think he got to really show who he was. Obviously, the team still has Alec Pierce. You still have Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. But you bring in a Tyler Warren now, somebody that can like kind of eat up the middle of the field. It would not shock me to see A.D. Mitchell creep up into that like 800 to 1,000 yard range with like 6-7 touchdowns. It would not shock me at all. That's my Bateman of this year.
Oh man,
A.D. Mitchell.
Okay.
A.D. Mitchell.
I don't know. It's terrible.
I'm gonna take him right now. He said it's terrible. What else is new? Let me set up another one real quick.
I'm surprised you haven't taken Keenan Allen yet.
I could have swore you were about to take Keenan Allen. And I was like, it's either between. I think one of those guys are going to get picked up by somebody, whether it's Keenan Allen or whether it's Amari Cooper. Like, I can see Amari Cooper going to like Seattle or something, right? And being impactful. I mean, he's not 30 yet, and he's still talented. I don't know why he's not Cooper.
Oh, I thought he was.
Nah, Cooper's
he's still ain't hit 30. Goddamn.
What is he? He's like, he's 30. He just hit 30. He just hit 30. I know. I found a youth over here.
I'm gonna try this 12 spot out. I don't like it, but I'm gonna try this 12 spot out.
Oh, drop it in the chat.
I dropped it in the private chat for y'all. I dropped it in the private chat. Y'all get a spot.
I'll go with 3.
Let me know when you win, P.
That's fine.
So normally what we do is we go through and rate the teams, but that shit takes too long. So unfortunately, this is the very first mock draft. Anybody, just let me ask this. Instead of rating the teams, Tyler, outside of your team, and then P outside of your team, and I'll go last, name one team that did really well to you and one team that was terrible to you.
One team that was good, in my opinion.
Yep.
I'll start with a bad one first.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't like the love for MVP team whatsoever. And the problem is just because it's a 3 wide receiver league. Like if this was a 2 wide receiver league, like that's a big difference. When your wide receiver 3 is Cooper Kupp and then your wide receiver 4 is Marvin Mims, like wide receivers are always way more difficult to find on the waiver wire, especially after like the first couple of weeks. You're just constantly like recycling Alec Pierce, hoping to chase that upside week again later in the season. Like that's what you're doing. So in 3 wide receiver leagues, like you got to go with at least a stud wide receiver early, and then you can kind of build out. So that's one. And then a team that I like, I like this. Who TH22? That one.
So you like that team?
I'll say this. I don't mind it. Just I don't like the Joe Burrow pick. I understand why he did it though, just because of Jamar Chase, and I don't really like the Travis Kelce, but I like I like the start of it, and then also the wide receivers. Like I think Jaden Reed maybe getting a little bit too much hate. Jawan Jennings, had the good season last year. Rashid Shaheed was breaking out last year and then got hurt. So there's potential here. I like how it started, and then you just have that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase stack, which can feed families all season long.
Good job, Ty. That's young Ty again, bro. He ready.
He's 22. Okay,
he ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that Jamar Chase at the number 3 pick is carrying.
A 3 wide receiver league too. Hell
yeah, it can't be mad. I don't like the GOAT BC's team. I don't like that team. I mean, I think you could have did a lot better with the wide receivers. You only drafted 3, so that means you got to start James Conner and Naji Harris. I don't know. It's just not. It's just
Backfield, Jonnu Smith. That feels like the ultimate overreaction type of team to guys who just are coming off these massive seasons to now they're being way pushed up the board. Do we really think they're going to?
I feel like this team felt the pressure of being in one of the end caps this year, and I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure on your teams this year because there's a ton of talent. And you got to reach for players that you want at certain spots. Like he reached on Marv and probably felt like, shit, Marv's not coming back to me. So, and you have to be able to feel out like, can a player come back to me? Or like, can I get a similar caliber player at the end caps? And I think 1 and 12 spot are both going to be very difficult positions this year.
I'll show you how to draft from the 1 spot.
We're gonna see. Now, I think I love the top end. I hate the back end of the draft.
I'm gonna go 7. I'm gonna go middle of the draft.
All right. We got, and then I'll go. You did both of yours, P?
A team I like. Jeez. I like HD Vibes team. Nico, I think Devontae. I think Brandon Ayuk coming back. I like the Harris pick way back there in the 10th round. I think he's gonna, as a rookie, he could shine. I know Harbaugh kind of relies on his higher end draft picks, so I like that. Jaden Daniels kind of solidifying everything. You got some. Achane is dope. I'm a big Achane guy, and Tony Pollard I think is going to be a little sleeper. I think he's a little undervalued because they got some quarterback play there now. I think he was like 14 points per game, 13, 14 points per game last year, and you just got to probably up that by maybe a few points. I think that this is a sleeper team. You ended with Chubb too. I'm not mad at it.
I like what Johnny Sports Talk did, but I just don't like some of the players. Like I like the setup here. If you would have this like Travis Etienne here, I think I would have liked this better, or like maybe a different quarterback later. But I really like the start.
The start was good, yeah.
Start right here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just this second half of the draft got a little out of whack for me, like Jadon Blue and Blake Corum. But like I can still see that one panning out. A team I didn't like was the Pops team. You get Saquon, which is fine, but then like I feel like every other pick, Khalil Shakir went kind of early for me, or like I don't think JSN should be your number one. So there's picks I really like in here, and there's some others I'm just like, So I felt like this team was good, and probably like every other pick I think I liked it. So I don't know. It wasn't too bad for me.